Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Today we are going to talk about the Boston Tea Party, French and Indian War, followed by the Revolutionary War and more.
With the French and Indian War over, colonists were eager to settle west of the Appalachian Mountains, but Indians were not going to take that. Chief Pontiac began to attack the British settlers because he felt that this land belonged to Native Americans.
This became known as Pontiac's Rebellion. To avoid further conflict with the Native Americans, King George III passed a proclamation of 1763 that said there is no settling west of the Appalachian Mountains.
No more colonists shall cross the Appalachian Mountains.
Did you hear the news?
What news?
King George said no colonists can cross west of the Appalachian Mountains.
No, we need more land!
The Sugar Act was a tax passed in 1764 by the English Parliament to offset the debt of the French and Indian War. It was also to help pay for the expenses of running the colonies and protecting the newly won territories.
We are not paying taxes because you are too poor to afford supporting the colonies.
Yeah. The Currency Act was also passed in 1764. It prohibited the colonists from issuing any paper money. This act threatened to ruin the entire colonial economy.
Northern and southern colonies began to join together in their common anger about these taxes. No taxation without representation defined the feeling of colonists at this time. Colonists didn't want to be taxed because they didn't vote on it.
And we don't have any representation.
No taxation without representation.
The Stamp Act was another tax passed in 1765 to pay the debt of the French and Indian War. The Stamp Act forced colonists to buy stamps to pay a tax. This time, Britain taxed the colonists on all paper items. This included stamps, playing cards, newspapers, magazines, and licenses.
A group of patriots called the Sons of Liberty was formed by Salem colonists to protest the Stamp Act.
The Sons of Liberty threatened the stamp agents, so the stamp agents were scared to collect the money from the colonists.
The Sons of Liberty also encouraged others to boycott British goods. This means they would refuse to buy anything British that had a tax.
No taxation without representation. No taxation without representation. King George III took away the Stamp Act, but the day after he put in a different act, the Declaratory Act.
The Declaratory Act was an attempt by England to bring back its power over the colonies of America. This act says that the English government has total control over all laws passed in the colonies. No more self-government.
In 1767, the Townshend Act was passed. This act taxed glass, lead, tea, and paper. The Boston merchants refused to pay the taxes and continued to boycott English goods. By 1770, most of these acts, except for the Tea Act, were repealed.
The Boston Massacre. Tension in Boston was rising ever since the British soldiers arrived. On March 5th, 1770, the whole city was about to explode. The angry colonists surrounded British soldiers and started throwing snowballs and insults at the soldiers.
We need backup.
We need to leave now.
The panicked soldiers fired into the crowd, killing 5 people, and the event became known as the Boston Massacre.
We have to control these colonists. What should we do?
We should start taxing the colonists on their tea.
Good idea. We'll call it the Tea Act.
So Britain started putting a tax on their favorite drink, tea.
We should discuss and dump off tea in the ocean. The Tea Act not only taxed tea, but helped the British East India Tea Company. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So they dressed in mohawks and went onto the ship.
In the middle of the night, they threw 342 crates of tea into the ocean.
When the king found out about what happened to all the tea, he blocked Boston Harbor until the damaged tea was paid for. These were called intolerable acts. Another intolerable act was England establishing a royal governor. Lately, these people could not meet up and gather at town meetings.
To protest the intolerable acts, colonial leaders gathered in Philadelphia. They once again asked King George III to repeal the acts and restore friendly relations. They agreed that if they needed, they would meet it again in a year.
On April 19th, troops marched into the town of Lexington, where they met colonial militia. Someone fired. This became known as a shot heard around the world. The Revolutionary War had begun.
The Second Continental Congress began May 1775. Representatives from each colony met in Philadelphia and chose a committee to write the Declaration of Independence.
The colonists wanted to break away from Britain to form their own country because the British are taxing the colonists. Thomas Jefferson wrote the final draft. He explained why the colonies should be independent from England and talked about people's rights. Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1770.
Thank you all for coming.
We hope you enjoyed it.